Hey, it's Jack here. We're about an hour from the Las Vegas Strip. We're out here at Corn Creek National Wildlife Refuge. Let's walk around the facility. Let's go inside and check it out. Well, before we go inside here, we're gonna point out here we got the restrooms right over here. And it says the trails are right in front of us. Something I saw though walking up here, in addition to the drinking fountain, they have an area where you can fill your water bottle up. So you can come out here if you've got a water bottle, fill it up right here. I want to point out their business hours. They are closed Tuesday and Wednesday, but they're open every other day of the week. Like these horns right there. Oh, when we come in, we've got the bighorn sheep. This is a refuge for the bighorn sheep. They got this great waterfall effect going on. It's actual water coming down there, and then they've got the ground painted here to where it looks like it's a river. Well, here's a map of the area. This is 1.6 million acres. This is the largest refuge outside of the state of Alaska. Give the idea of the size here. We're right here. This is where we are. And we see the black lines. Those are the off-road trails. You want to have a 4x4 vehicle that's elevated off the ground to go on those. Over here they have some statues of various animals. We'll see out here. We got the jackrabbit over here. Got this lizard. There's a snake over there on the side of the bighorn sheep there, and some birds flying across the sky. And here's the thing where you can test what the scent is. You lift up the door and then you take a whiff of what it is and you try to figure out what the smell is. And that was a mountain lion there. I can't really tell you what the smell was because I didn't smell anything really. And it says step on the footprint to find out what bighorn hooves feel like. Okay. And when I step on that, it's a cushy feeling. It's just kind of like you're on a foam type of pad when you step on there. So this exhibit says that the bighorn sheep horns can weigh up to 30 pounds. So they've got this here. This is replica of bighorn sheep horns. And yeah, that's 30 pounds, all right. So they advise I should watch the movie because it has a lot of information about the area. Due to copyright, I won't be showing the movie on the film here. Got a couple minutes of showtime. I'll be back with you after the film's over. As usual, the visitor center film, there's very informative, tells you about the area, tells you what to look for. So let's go ahead and head outside, start looking at some of these trails. We've come outside, we got the compass on the ground here. You can see we're facing due north here. It's a little bit breezy and chilly out here today. We'll go ahead and start our walk over here. Here's the map they gave me in the visitor center. We got various trails. All the trails are fairly short. The longest one is this one up here called Birdsong Loop. It's a half mile. Otherwise, they're all pretty much 0.1 or 0.3 miles, so forth. So we're going to go ahead and try to get all the trails in today. We're starting over here with the visitor center. And we're going to go ahead and walk this way. I believe this takes us to Jackrabbit Loop. We'll see what we see. I do hear water running. And we can see the water running right here down below us. As we come up here further, they've got the billboard here. We can see this is a faded map, but we can see the various trails here as well. So we're here, we're right where the star is. We'll do Jackrabbit Loop, we're going to do Bighorn Loop, and so forth. And we're going to walk around, get all these in today. All right, here it tells you about the trails, what they're used for, keep your pets on a leash, no motorized vehicles, no bicycles. Well, one thing to note right away is Jackrabbit Trail is paved. They also have the dog waste right here, so grab a bag, pick up after your pet. You can deposit it right there when you're done. We come across this archway here. We got a bench. Land of springs and water where the frogs live right here. Do have that map down below. And we do see the creek running right underneath the bridge there. Pretty cool here. They got this labeled fairly well. We can see that Jackrabbit Trail takes us off to the left, Whispering Bend to the right, Bighorn to the right. So we're approximately right here at this crossroad. That's the bench we just saw. That's the dog waste station. So what we're going to do, we're going to just follow this off to the right through the whole excursion through all these trails, and we'll eventually come right back here where we started. Point out how well maintained the trail is here. We've got railroad ties on each side. Nice gravel trail here. Now, filming of this is April 2025. It is early spring, so we're starting to see some green come in. Now looking off to the west, we see the spring mountains here, and looks like some weather is starting to push up against the mountains there. We'll continue on up this way. I do see an information billboard up here. See what it has to read. The billboard reads, "A View to Traditional Lifeways." And we have this sculpture here of Native Americans showing what they did in their daily life. And one of the things the movie did touch on was this refuge was put in place to preserve the bighorn sheep. And this is one of the largest preserves for bighorn sheep. And there's signs throughout telling you to stay on the trail. It is a sensitive wildlife area, so stay on the trail, stay out of this area. We'll follow up here. Got some more information billboards. We'll see what these had to say. As we walk up here, this is fairly interesting. It tells us about the mountains that are directly in front of us and the age of the rock and so forth. Those mountains we're talking about are right in front of us here. Now, Sheep Peak is the tallest point that we see right up here. That is called Sheep Peak. This is the sheep mountains that we're looking at right here. I'll continue to walk along here. Just a beautiful day out here in southern Nevada. Even with the breeze and the chill in the air, just cannot complain. Spring in southern Nevada will vary between 30 degrees to some days it'll be 80 degrees, and this is one of the days it's ranging around 48 degrees. Now right here it says thriving in the desert, and it looks like they got desert tortoises out here. Now, with it being spring, tortoises are probably out because it has been warm. This is a cooler day, but the last couple weeks out here it has been warm. Desert tortoises will be out there somewhere. And right here it says, again, stay on the trail. We got another trail out here called Whispering Bend. And Whispering Bend Trail goes straight out this way. So where we are on the map, we started down here at the visitor center, we've walked around, we've come up here. Here's Whispering Bend Trail, and according to the map, Whispering Bend Trail is 0.1 miles. So yeah, we'll go ahead and walk out this way, see what there is at the end of the trail. So we walk on the trail, we can see it's well groomed. It's a dirt/gravel type trail. However, it doesn't mean you shouldn't wear the proper footwear. So out here, always wear the proper footwear. Flip-flops, it's not the place for it. Open-toed shoes, this is not the place for it. Come prepared for the terrain. They're coming up here to the end of Whispering Bend Trail. Quite breezy out here. And we got this rock, it's called mortar. It says mortars are on here. Well, this was from the Native Americans. They drilled this out and they would use this rock here. And up from that, this view is just amazing out here. Again, this is the Sheep Mountains. If I do a turn to my right, we're looking over here at the Spring Mountains, and we can see that weather is rolling right in. Looks like they might be getting some snow on the mountains there off to the left. Of course, we can see it has snowed recently on those mountains there on the right. That's Mount Charleston directly in front of us. We'll go ahead and head back down Whispering Bend Trail here, catch back up to the main trail. Oh, we're back on the Bighorn Loop here. Go ahead and follow along here, see where this takes us. Came across a bird here, being very quiet. I've been hearing the birds, but I haven't seen any. It's the first bird I've seen. We come up here, we got another billboard. See what this one reads. This one talks about the bighorn on the refuge. And this looks to be the same fence line here that we see in the picture down here. It'll continue on. Here's the crossroads here. You just come off of Bighorn Loop. Got Birdsong that way, and Coyote Loop goes both ways here. So we're going to follow this around. We're going to go Birdsong Loop right now. I want to point something out though that I see here off to the left that's worth checking out. Got the picnic area right here. And of course you want to stay on this side of the fence line, because everything on the other side of the fence line is a sensitive wildlife area. This is Coyote Loop here again. Follow this on around. There's a couple things to see here on Coyote Loop before we get on Birdsong Loop. One of those things we're going to check out is just to our right here. A railroad tie cabin made out of the railroad ties that are left over from the Tonopah Tidewater Railroad that used to run through here. Here's a billboard that talks about it if you want to read further. Freeze frame your screen right here. You see that railroad tie cabin right here in front of us. Look in this window here and see what we could see. We're looking through the window there, we can see, looks like there's a stove, there's a table, maybe a cabinet there in the corner, real hard to tell. The glare on the window. So we come to the back of the cabin. Let's see what we can see here. Come to the back of the cabin. This is like a bedroom in the cabin. We see straight ahead, there's the door, front door. This only has 3 windows. Go ahead and go over here and look in the side. Yeah, it gives us a better view. Now that was a tour of the historic railroad tie cabin. Now come on down here, leaving the railroad tie cabin, they have down here what's called a refugium, and there's supposed to be some perump pool fish down here in this aquarium. So we'll go down here and see if we can spot some of those fish. Well, there's a lot of algae that's built up on the windows here. This is the best one I could find to look in. And we can see those fish on occasion going by. This billboard talks about those fish. If you're interested, good time to freeze frame your screen. You can read all about it right there. Well, here's where we are on the map. So we're kind of center. We've done this whole area here. We're right here right now. We've already done railroad tie cabin. We're going to go down this path here, and it looks like we'll just make a big loop on Birdsong here. And that path we're going down is right here in front of us. Well, as we come up here, we have another pet waste area. Got the bag there, got the container there. Make good use of those if you're out here with your pet. So continue this way. Next stop is Birdsong Loop. Well, here's our trail marker for Birdsong Loop. It's a ½ mile. We'll go ahead and head out this way, see what there is to see on Birdsong Loop. Now, the visitor center told me that Birdsong Loop is a dirt trail. If you're out here, you want to definitely watch your footing. Another thing to note, always bring water with you out here, regardless of the time of year. You'll get dehydrated in the wintertime. almost as quickly as you will in the summertime because the dry, arid conditions. You won't realize it in the wintertime that you're dehydrated a lot of times till it's too late, whereas the summertime you're drinking constantly because of the desert heat. Oh, right in front of us here we can see their maintenance facilities here, and we'll go ahead and continue on this way, Birdsong Loop. As we come up here, it tells us the area on the other side of this sign is closed to stay on the trail this way, so off we go. I wanted to point out that weather is looking ominous and it's starting to head this way a little bit quicker. So hopefully we can make it through this loop without getting rained on. If you look out this way, you would never know that there are dark clouds behind us that look like they're approaching quickly. And you come up here and we got another sign. It tells us it's closed. Looks like there's a dirt path that somebody cut out going that way. So we want to stay on the marked trail going this way. Looks like we're going to head back towards some nice looking foliage over here. Also wanted to make note of the weather situation. This is off toward the Sheep Mountains here. It's starting to look a little bit ominous. There's a maintenance facility there. Up the center where we are, it's looking pretty good. But yeah, over here off to the right, not so good. So we'll get this trail going here. We'll probably be fine. Trail through here is well maintained. It's a sandy trail, and you know you're on the right spot because of all the rocks that line the trail up here. Well, you come up here, there's a series of bridges we go over. Unfortunately, there's no water running underneath them. Well, we cross a series of bridges, and there are some wood railroad tie steps here, so you'll want to be careful as you go over the steps when you come out here. And if you need it, there's a bench right here to sit down. I decided to sit down, take a load off, get some water real quick. This view of this tree is just beautiful. I got up from the bench and got this tall grass over here. You can see where water runs down below there. Can't tell if there's any water running currently, but because it's brown currently, I'm going to say probably not. Yeah, we're going to continue down the trail here, see what else there is to see. So far the birds, with the exception of the one, has eluded me. I can hear them when I stop. I don't see them, but I can continue to hear them. That's Murphy's Law right there. Well, we've walked further up the trail. We've got another bench right here. And behind that bench, of course, there's the Sheep Mountains right there. See, that weather is definitely hovering over the mountains. As we walk through here, we can see that the trail is kind of narrowed. The foliage is kind of overlapping the trail in some areas. As we came back down the trail here, come into some shade. You can see where this is a dry wash right now. It takes us back up this way. And as we come around the bend, we have another bench here. So to give you an idea of where we are, or where I think we are, we went around the maintenance yard here. I believe this was the bench at the top of the stairs that we climbed up. There's been a couple benches since then that aren't on the map, and we're actually on one of those benches right now that aren't on the map. So I think we're probably somewhere in this vicinity. It's been a very easy trail, very scenic area to look out as well. We can see that ominous weather rolling in, getting a little bit closer. I think we're good to go here. We'll make it back to the Visitors Center in plenty of time. We see the signs for Birdsong Loop, and we're right here in front of Coyote Loop. So what we're going to do here is we're going to head out off to our right, and up here there's an area that we'll make a left turn. The sign looks familiar. It's the direction we went to go to Birdsong Loop there. We want Coyote Loop, so we're going to head off to our left. Now we come up here to another bridge. And over here there is water. Standing water, it's not running, well it's trickling down over here. As we look, we can see a little stream of water there. Otherwise, the water's mostly standing as we look at it. I noticed the trails that are closer to the visitor center are a little bit better, well kept, more trimmed, they're wider than like Birdsong Loop. Still, all the trails are real easy to walk. I've had no problems today whatsoever. You do kind of go a little bit up and down, as you saw with the stairs on Birdsong Loop. Other than that, there's been really not much elevation change at all. Well, we've come up about probably a couple hundred yards from our last area, and we're closer to the visitor center. We got the water running right here. Come up here, there's another bridge, and this one we can see that water even running better here. Listening to the water running is very tranquil. Here's a billboard about the Richardson family. They inhabited the area. They came out here in 1916 and they planted fruit trees. And I'm hearing it. It's right up there. That, my friends, are the thunderbirds going overhead, directly in front of us there. Nellis Air Force Base isn't too far from here, and they're just out doing their weekend stuff. Going back to what I was talking about, this is a great time to freeze frame your screen if you want to read about the Richardsons who came from Utah in 1916, and they planted fruit trees out here, which required a lot of water because they're not native to the desert. There's some of those fruit trees out there. Yeah, walk up here a little further, have another bridge to cross, and more streaming water just underneath here. Well, we come up to another crossroads here. See Bighorn Loop is in front of us. We just finished Coyote Loop. This is the start of it here if you were to come from this direction. Oh, that kind of startled me for a second. You got the statue of a coyote right here. And at first I thought that was an actual wildlife there. But it's not a statue. Oh, this interesting sign as we come up here says no swimming, no wading. I wouldn't want to swim in the stream. Of course, no wading makes sense. Sad they have to put a sign up like that because it means that someone's tried it before. Oh, I see what they're talking about with no swimming. There's a big reservoir right here, right behind the visitor center. They don't want you swimming out here in this. That makes sense. No swimming in the reservoir. I walked a little bit further up. Got this bench over here. And this is you're gonna find these signs all over Nevada. Don't ditch your fish, and basically don't ditch your pet either. And the problem people have is they ditch their goldfish and stuff, and they just don't want that to happen. So don't ditch your animal out here. There's that reservoir from a different direction here. We can see down here the water being funneled in. As we walk back down, brings us back to the visitor center. I had to do this where I live too. If you look at those windows, you see the cord hanging down. What that's for is to keep the birds away, so the birds won't fly into the windows, because the birds see the reflection and think there's land beyond that, and the strings actually break up that, and so the birds know that, hey, that's not solid sky out that way. There's an obstacle there. Well, the gift shop here, they've got stuffed animals, they have books for the area and other things here as we see. Just looking for a pen for Corn Creek National Wildlife Refuge, but they didn't have any. Therefore, instead I bought a chipmunk pen. And the reason for the chipmunk pen was because I saw several of them on the trail. While I had the camera off, of course, could not show them to you, but yeah, I saw plenty of chipmunks out here on the trail today. And if you're wondering about the weather, it never caught up to me out here today. It is pushing this way, but it's still crystal clear where I am. And if we look over here off to the east, we can still see the dark clouds over the Sheep Mountains there. I hope you enjoyed this walk around tour on Corn Creek National Wildlife Refuge, about an hour north of Las Vegas Strip. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.